Good evening, race fans. Welcome to Nerditudes. Going to be an awesome event here tonight with the Bluegreen Duels vacation at Daytona. My name is Jeremy Stanley, aka J Stan, as you will now get to learn me throughout each and every week. And alongside me for the first time, he goes by Pushib Yanek, aka Kenny Bishop. Kenny, how are you doing this evening, man?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. I'm loving that I'm in the booth finally with you. I'm ready for these fast, high-banking, 31-degree banks of Daytona National Speedway. It's going to be fun action. It's always great coming to Daytona because, the season's about to get underway.
Yeah, we live about 45 minutes just to the south side of Daytona. We've been here plenty of times, so we know what this track looks like in real life, on the track virtually, on the track physically. This track never lets down. I know I've been here personally over 1,600 miles this past month or so, doing a lot of sim races. Most recently, the podium pre-race stuff there on Saturday. So this has had a lot of Daytona, but I'm still looking forward to it. I still love this track every time I come here.
You failed to mention that you were the winner of the podium LCQ number 2, but you've done a lot of racing on here, won a couple races. I'm excited to get it going. Watching practice has been fun. Casey McMullen, last year's defending champion, Mr. Consistency, already, taking where he left off from last season, top of the charts in Daytona. It is Daytona, but it's always nice to come back and show what you did last year.
Yeah, to come back and have your bragging rights. And keeping the top spot on the charts is always a good feeling to have, even if it's at Daytona or Talladega. It does not matter. But quick mention here, this is the Martin Sports pre-race show you're listening to. These guys are winding down in practice here with about 3.5 minutes left or so before they'll kick it over to qualifying, which will last about 5 minutes or so. And whoever can turn the fastest time, they'll stagger that start with the 2 duels tonight. So each one 25 laps. So it'll be a stagger start. So it'll be the pole sitter will be starting in heat 1 first place, and then second place in qualifying will be your pole sitter in heat race number 2. I know you've been watching practice, Kenny, for a little bit. Tell us your thoughts, your opinions. How are people rating out there, and just what's your overall expectations?
Right now, they've been doing a good pack racing. Watched a couple packs, probably about 10, 15 cars in each other packs that's been going. Good hard racing. They've been cutting it close, good bump drafting, making moves. So I'm excited for the race. I think it's going to be a good battle all the way to the finish. It's always fun with these duels. You never know what's going to happen. You might have one that's kind of just following pace and they're just trying to get to the finish, and you got the other ones that's going all out. So I'm excited to see which way they take it, and hope it's an exciting finish.
Yeah, Daytona typically never lets down with that unless, you go back to circa 2015 or 16 where you had like 5 people finish in one of the duels. Outside of that, it's usually exciting battles that you'll see every time, especially the duels. A little bit of a bragging right, trying to get your best qualifying time down in a race format. So never lets down. But the cars are winding down. I got about a minute left. They're just making their last minute tweaks. You mentioned Casey McMullen. He's actually got almost a 0.2 of a second faster over second place, which in Daytona standards is quite impressive considering everyone's been in that draft. So definitely showing here his muscle here.
Oh yeah, he's definitely flexing his muscle. He's showing why he was a defending champ last year. He's still going to come out here and prove it again, seeing if he can get that pole spot, maybe come home with the win, and start off to the season just like he did last time. These duels are exciting. Love to watch them. Like you said, we're 40 minutes down the road. This is one of my favorite races to go to. You get 2 races in one. It's at night, so it's nice and cool at this time of the year. It's just an exciting race altogether. It's one of my favorites, and just the smell of racing fuel and burnt rubber. Nothing gets better.
Now, I wish we can simulate that somehow in our sim rigs, but, some things you can't just develop. So we'll have to live with just the view, which is still an awesome view nonetheless. And also after the duels, we have an exciting little 25-lap fun, prelude type race just to have for fun before next week's 250. So I'm going to take this time here as the practice is ending right now, as everyone's starting to pull down pit road. I'd like to take time to thank our sponsors of Nerditudes and Full Throttle Sim Racing. Without them and their contributions, we probably would not be doing this, at least for the most part, I would imagine. So, first and foremost, Full Throttle Sim Racing, thank you for letting Nerditudes on board. Sincerely appreciate that, and hopefully we're going to have a fun, well, not hopefully, I think we are going to have a fun time calling the shots with you each and every Monday and Wednesday for the truck series as well, Sim Points Truck Racing. So, Full Throttle Sim Racing is your premier sponsor for tonight's event and throughout the Cup Series on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Premier for the Cup and Trucks. They've been starting this thing since 2006, back in NASCAR Racing 2003 season. I know, Kenny, you had some quite amount of experience in that game. They've grown and grown. And say again?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, just a couple laps. But yeah, they switched over to iRacing in 2017, and with outstanding admins and just professionalism all the way across the board, it's carried them all the way from 2006 to 2022 and beyond. So check them out. FTSR.net would be the website to sign up and get registered for this league. And then their second premier sponsor, Full Throttle Sim Racing, is Sim Racing Points. That's your premier sponsor for the truck series as well, every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. as well, which you'll see my face and Kenny's down that night as well. Basically, it's a all-inclusive league points management system. Makes things super easy for admins, management, all the above to take care of the points. It's one of those tools that it's a dire need. It takes a lot of work away from manually adding points, this and that. You can create custom widgets for your websites, full display of points, no matter how you want to display it on your website. Go check them out, simracingpoints.com. And then a couple other sponsors I would like to thank as well, as the qualifying time does kind of tick down, and Daytona qualifying is not too exciting to watch overall. So Martin Sports, the home of the gloves of sim racing, martinsports906.com. They make the most breathable, durable gloves. I have them here. I know you have them, Kenny.
Right here.
I've worn these things for a couple weeks now, and let me tell you, I have the most sweatiest palms imaginable when it comes to racing. I just ran about 3 hours of podium racing on Saturday, including that LCQ, and my hands were perfectly dry. So they stood the time. That advertised perfectly. Did not lie to you one bit, because with my hands, I was skeptical, but no, they're good. So these sim racing gloves to get, martinsports906.com. They also have full customized shirts, hoodies, just a bunch of different apparel, hats. I know they're working on some other apparel as well. You can be fully decked out. So martinsports906.com. And then I'm going to stand corrected on this one with iRacing iFlag. My dyslexic moment sometimes twists those up. iRacingIFlag.com. It is your standard for open source race marshalling light board system. That was a mouthful. Essentially, you bring the track lights into your sim rig. It simulates every caution flag, every red flag, blue flag, green flag, checkered flag. Kind of just brings you more realism, Something a little different, something a little unique. No one really has done that before. iRacing iFlag. Use Super Nerd at checkout. 15% off their product. Highly recommend you go check them out. And then we have the butt kicker, which is the other half of that sim rig I like to mention. It's I always say it's a D-box for your seat. Kind of you put on the back or the bottom of your chair, and then when you're racing, you feel every bump in the track. The sounds are amplified, gives you a true 3D experience. It's basically an audio enhancer with motion. No other product on the market like it as well. We have Nerd TV at 20% off for you at checkout as well. You have to go to thebuttkicker.com. And the last sponsor I'd like to mention tonight is going to be McConeySetupShop.com, which they also have a paint shop as well. So it's a one-stop shop for all of your paint needs, all of your setup needs for cars across the board, whether it's road racing with your Porsches, your Lambos, or whether for something you want to do on the oval side with Cup cars, Xfinities, or trucks, or even dirt series. They got some dirt series as well. So McConeySetupShop.com, check them out. McKinney, I think we got about a minute left until qualifying is over. What are you seeing out there for times?
Right now, it looks like everyone's pretty close. I still had my eyes on Case McMullen just to see what he could do in qualifying. He was running a little slower than he was in practice, but I think he's going to make his way up there.
Yeah, very good. I think you're not wrong there. I think he's going to be able to do that just fine, no problem. Just has to get through the tricky parts of getting through the field, but he is more than able to do that. But at this time, since we're about 15 seconds away from heat race number 1, it is time to put the full show on the field and not so much on our faces. So we will see you guys face to face at the end of Heat 1 with your Heat 1 race winner. Hopefully you guys enjoy the show, and this will be the end of the Martin Sports pre-race show. All right, Kenny. Pace Truck is currently on the grid here with heat race number 1, which is going to be in the total of... Actually, you know what? There was a little bit of a trickery. Heat 2 was skipped. Admin had a little mistake there. So everybody's in heat race number 1. We're going to see how this tackles out in real time. So,
sounds like they're going to do a quick little reset here, and they're going to get us back underway and get these grids figured out.
You got that call. Okay, so we'll have to wait for them to figure that out and get everything reset. Right now, it is currently 1 heat race all drivers, so we'll see how this plays out. I don't know how they can do that in real time without resetting the server. I haven't seen that done personally myself, but we might just have a big field here. I don't know. We'll find out.
Might just have to settle the duels in one race and go from there. Hopefully they'll get it figured out though, where they can switch it. Everyone keeps their qualifying spot and get these duels underway.
Getting race word here. Give us just a second here as we're listening in.
Sounds like race control is saying they're going to take the qualifying order and transfer it over to the other server and get everyone back underway just where they qualified.
All right, so that means we're going to have to temporarily cut feed for you guys so we can get regrouped into the next session as they currently jot down the qualifying times. So we're going to cut the feed now. We're going to switch over to the other server, and we'll see you guys here shortly.
Stay tuned for a brief commercial break.
To be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairground Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairground Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairground Speedway, Five Flag Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at McCody Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, McCody Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to McConeySetupShop.com and learn why McConey Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that McConey Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flags Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at McConey Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, McConey Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to McConeySetupShop.com and learn why McConey Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups for your victory.
Back to the new session that's been set up now for these drivers to take on heat race number 1. We will be doing a short intermission after heat race number 1 to go back to, once again, heat race number 2. Do apologize about that inconvenience and time delay. The admin's got everything figured out how to enter in the qualifying session and the results manually to set up the grid for heat race number 1 correctly for everybody this evening. They're going to take about another minute or two, I do believe, to get everything's finalized, make things in good working order before they do kick it green. And cars right now are they're exiting the garage again and getting back on track and trying to turn in a little extra laps, Kenny.
Yeah, it looks like we got about 14 that's going to be in this first duel. I'm not sure if there's going to be another one. I thought we saw 30 or 31 on that first session, but right now I'm only registering 14 unless I'm missing one there. But yeah, it looks like everyone's starting to get back on the track, and we're going to get underway here soon.
Yeah, I think they gave them a half-hour tops, but I highly doubt we're going to take any more than like 10 minutes, I would imagine. But yeah, with only 14, I think it was around 15 to 16 that made the heat race number 1, like you had said, because I think it was 31 in total, split that in half. Should be 15 and 16. Heat 1 should have 16, so once they get all joined into the session, it'll be go time.
Yeah, looks like there's some that's just taking advantage of this little bit of time that we have out here, making some more practice laps before it gets rolling out. Got Ryan Hedrick here. Nice little DraftKings car. Liking that green with the money on the sign. He's trying to get the money tonight.
Yeah, so is 15 others as well, at least for the heat race anyways, or the duel rather, I should call it. It'll be 25 laps per race, as I mentioned, and I do believe we're still looking forward to that prelude race to end the night with just a fun little 25 laps. That means absolutely nothing, just to go out there and have fun. That should be coming up after duel race number 2.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting one. That's just going to be an expedition race. Get out there, have some fun, see how these cars handle in the draft a little bit more after the duels. Get ready for that good Daytona race to start the season next Monday. It's going to be an exciting race, and that expedition race is just going to be fun. So stick around and watch that one with us, and have a good time.
Yeah, right now the only action on the track is 2 cars, the 37 and 47. Both are rookies, Kenny. As we're going to point out before that little break there, the brand new team getting things worked on, and they're out there getting some draft laps together for the very first time. And the car, I should mention as well, that was freshly updated by iRacing as of today, so things are a little bit different. If you've tuned in before to any broadcast recently with the next gens, you should now notice a little camera right above the front splitter, and then a little air intake there in the middle of the windshield.
Yeah, it's a nice little update. Just small little things, but it does definitely stand out. Yeah, it looks like there's 3 team cars. It's quite easy to tell this team out. You got the 37, 47, 57, and the 67. So it looks like the 67 of James Wallace is going to be joining these 2 on the track. I believe James is the one that's coming back after a little hiatus back to the league. So it's nice to see him back, and maybe these 3 will link up and take it to the front.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool to go out there as your first little team session and go ahead and take a W and grab the checkered flags. I'm sure that's what they have their eyes set for, is for that checker flag, for them to get some awesome teamwork and maybe come out on top in this first session.
Yeah, absolutely. When you can see the sun setting there heading into turn 1, it's going to get dark here. It's going to be a nice little, Daytona under the lights is always nice. Couldn't imagine what this place was before that. So thank you back in 1998 when they added these lights, because Daytona on the lights, any racing on the lights to me is, short track racing, all that. That's what we grew up on now at New Smyrna, and then now seeing it at Daytona. So these lights are kicking on, and it's going to be a fun race here with these paint jobs just kind of glowing off those lights right now.
I think that's one of the most exciting things to me personally with the night racing. It has a different mindset, a different vibe, if you will. As you mentioned with the short track Saturday night stuff. But the track's actually cooler as well. So the track's a little more grippy, able to make a little more moves a little more confidently. And then as well as I was talking about with the paint schemes, they do glow, as you said. And when you get these bright colored cars, and I see a couple white ones out here too, typically, or at least 5 or 10 years ago, they used to run variants where they ran a white scheme at night and a black scheme during the day, or similar form of that. I see a couple of those out there, and man, when the sun fully sets down and the lights are fully glowing on the track, those things really pop.
Yeah, I love the different transition, having that white car or just the color difference on that from the day races to the night races. It just helps them stand out. I mean, Dale Jr. did it so much with his Daytona cars back in July, always around the All-Stars, typically a white car. Just that little subtle difference, just like you said, just pops under here. And yeah, it's a little cool. It's 67 at the track right now, so it's perfect time for February to get some racing going.
Yeah, and the track temperature also is very nice, as we see about 4 cars currently in this pack, as you got you right on live TV with 37, 47, 19, and 77. I think there's every 7 variant out here on the track as the 17 is joined, so that's 3 or 4 cars with the 7 there at the back end. Then you got the I'm going to get used to this. The Brad Keselowski scheme there is going to join the pack here and potentially make a little 5-car session to get a little pack session practiced and worked on before they kick it over to the 25-lapper.
Yeah, don't forget the 77. That's going to be your other one. So we got, like you said, a bunch of 7s in here. And this 5-car pack, they're going to try 2 wide and just get a little bit more practice going on. Might get a 6-car pack here very soon and get those last little adjustments there. We got the 47 in the wall, so he's just testing it. See how high he can take and get the run off the corner there, it looks like.
And it looks like 47 backed up. He wanted to just kind of preserve his car, didn't want to cause anything too early. So they did go 3 wide. 77 did force station. 19 actually checked up and hit the apron there and shoved the 77 up. Still going good. It's a virtual car, so it's not like you're going to be wasting money or realistic parts. It's unlike NASCAR, iRacing has unlimited parts, so they can wreck, but they don't want to do that because it's practice and they just want to get everything tuned up and ready to go.
Get as much time behind the wheel as you can. These new packages they have with this last update, these cars really suck up very fast, and it makes for some fun racing. If you gotta be careful though, because sometimes you'll come up a little bit too quick, and you gotta make sure you check up, or you're gonna run to the back of the car in front of you, or you're gonna give them a massive bump draft, and hopefully they can hold on to that thing, because if they can, that'll propel them pretty far up to the front there.
And if you guys are tuning in, have watched the Podium 500 and all the heat races and duels prior on Saturday. This car with the new aero package is really racy, has a lot of stuck up in the draft, and there's your little wreck there, 37, 17 hard into the inside wall, giving us a little bit of action here before we kick it over. But as we were saying, that Brody Race Control has getting everyone in there for a quick drivers meeting before the green flag is underway. So but yeah, as I was saying, the cars have a lot of draft, a lot of momentum, and you'll definitely see them quite racy out there.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting event. They're all pulling it down. They're getting ready to go over this drivers' meeting, get everything back under order. Got one guy coming off of turn 4 there, sliding around the corners, having a little bit of fun before we get this race underway.
And with that being said, it is the end of the second version of the first Martin Sports pre-race show. So once again, we'll pan everyone over to the race event and get our faces off the screen, and hopefully you guys enjoy the 25 laps in dual race number 1. All right, pace truck is currently sitting on the grid here as these guys are lining up. Looks like we have a total of 14 cars. I'm not sure if the 15th car was unable to make it or whatnot, but 14 currently scheduled on the grid here. If you're taking off momentarily, they'll be doing 1 pace lap around this 2.5 mile Daytona International Speedway. And then you will see them go bumper to bumper, side by side for 25 laps to see who can win the first race of the season in 2022. All right, we're going to quickly go over the grid for you guys this evening. Rob Shoemaker takes your top spot here in qualifying. Then we have Chuck Sweeting in second, Bobby Rafferty in third, Richie Coy sitting in fourth place, Ralph Nolan Jr. in fifth, Brian Bliss currently takes sixth, Matthew Norberg takes seventh, Steve Loomis eighth. Sitting in ninth place currently is James Wallace. 10th place, Brian Double.
And rounding out the rest of the field here, we have Ryan Hedrick in 11th, James Torrey in 12th, Dean Gear in 13th, and in the 14th position we have Josh Maya.
And that grid lineup was brought to you by Full Throttle Sim Racing as well, the premier sponsor for the Cup Series that you'll be seeing with us every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, Kenny, we got about a lap or a corner or so before we take the green flag. Based off that little session there and what you saw previous to that intermission, you got an early favorite?
I'm gonna have to go with this with Rob Shoemaker. He's got the pole starting up front. I think he's gonna continue this whole way here.
I have to agree with you there. Pace car is down below the yellow line, waiting for the green flag, which is out right now. Rob Shoemaker with a really good start. I should say, actually, the second place car with a pretty bad start there, falling back several positions back to fourth early on.
Yeah, it looks like he spun the tires on the start there, and that bottom line's just starting to take off a little bit quicker than the top line. They're going to try and get up here and get the top line rolling. You have Ralph Nolan Jr. up on the high side, leading the charge, trying to get this high side rolling. We catch back up to the bottom side as they're coming off of turn 2.
That's a huge mistake there by Chuck Sweeting as he's falling back all the way to 13th and going to maybe try to squeeze in, which he does, 13th place, and he's got to go from the front to the back and try to make his way back to the front, which I know 25 laps here is plenty of time.
Yeah, he'll definitely get some time back. He might be just dropping back, kind of collecting himself, and then he's going to try and charge back up to the front here, it looks like. Right now we got the 95. They got a good push by the 75 here. They're running 1-2, coming off the tri-oval, heading into turn 1. A little bit too wide racing here right now, just kind of taking it easy, getting their car settled in.
Yeah, too wide is plenty of room here at this track. Also, if you watch the podium event, you realize this new draft package, the high side, definitely, at least to me, seemed to be the preferred way, as with most others. You got that classic Dale Jr. lane where you just follow the lead car up at the top, because with this car producing so much momentum off the corner exit, especially turn number 2 with that banking drop, you get such crazy amount of speed, and then the side draft just carries you all the way. And that's why I saw the top line preferred over this past weekend.
Yeah, it looks like Bobby Rafferty was coming up there, but he got cut off there by James Wallace jumped up into that second lane. He's going to take the high side, try and bring this pack up to the front here, even with the inside lane. Looks like we still got a little side-by-side racing, heading into turn 1.
Yeah, side-by-side for third on back. The top 2 cars are kind of single-filed out, and right now they're preferring the bottom here. Ralph Nolan Jr. leading the way. 76 of Matthew Norberg looking high to try to take the top spot here. 67 wants to lead as well. They go 3 wide into turn 3.
3 wide going down into turn 3. We got there he goes on the outside. The outside lane is finally picking up some steam. Got a new leader here. James Wallace is now in P1. Unfortunately, it looks like the 18 car, Ryan Bliss, kind of got stuck up on the high side. He is definitely going to be falling back.
Yeah, he's only got one person that's about 5 car lengths behind him. He's going to fall back quite a bit. As to the top 4, they dip down to the bottom. James Wallace Jr. at the point.
Those top 4, if they group up and they stay single file, they might actually pull away from this group here, and it might just be a 4-car race, because these cars, with this new aero package, as we were mentioning early, they do seem to take off when they get single file.
And if you notice, if we kick it back over to 5th, 6th, and 7th, they have a lot of space between them, unlike the top 4, which are nose to tail all the way through, so they definitely have the momentum as far as the draft goes, and it looks like 5th and 6th are just by themselves in their own little 2-car pack. And I do see the top 4 is starting to spread over a second ahead of 5th place.
That they are. There is about, looks like I'm picking up 5 different groups. We've got the 4, the 2, there's 3, a couple different packs. This pack is actually, they're starting to group up, so we're going to have a 5-car pack here. And they might actually catch this 4-car pack there that's leading the pace right now.
Now, if everyone stays patient, they can kind of group up like they're doing right now. The back 5 are now grouped up in one single pack. And if they could kind of gather up and collect somebody else, like the next pack ahead of them being the 6th car of James Torrey, currently scored in 9th place, they might do something. But they actually just caught the lead pack here. So it's actually going to be a 2-car pack at the end of the day here right now. And the red car up there, I do believe that's going to be
Rob Shoemaker with a heck of a run coming there going into turn 3. Put him in the 3rd. He propelled himself all the way back there from about 5th to 3rd. Fell right in line. Ralph Nolan Jr. fell in right behind him. And now we're back to, looks like an 8-car pack, just single file. they pulled away from the second car pack. I believe that has 5 in that end pack there.
Yeah, good save on Rob Schumacher. That was the guy who in the red car taking now the third place here. He's just kind of just nose to tail with everybody. Is there going to be a little bit of patience going to be on display here for the next few laps, I'd imagine, before we get down to the final few, and then you'll start seeing them going all over the place. I just saw erratic moves also this past weekend with this new draft package.
Yeah, definitely. There were some crazy moves going on. And like I said, some of these runs were just coming so fast that some people just couldn't anticipate the run. And unfortunately, if they didn't check up, there was going to be some damage that occurred. And no worries on that Rob Shoemaker, because he's actually in the number 2 car this year. Last year, he was in the 66, so I'm sure you're not the only one that's getting a little confused by who's in that number 2 this year.
Yeah, it's a big number change for sure. And yeah, that car's looking pretty sporty. They're the Gladiators of Racing. Usually the Mustang logo's there on the front, but not this time around. Kind of a cool, unique touch there as well. I know I got the GT500 in that little spot. Hopefully iRacing does not change that to where it's locked in. So I like that customization on that red number 2.
Oh, absolutely. I love the little Shelby Mustang that you've added in mine with the little Cobra logo. That's great. But we do see we have a run here on the high side. Ralph Nolan Jr. is trying to make a run. He's all by himself. He's actually going to get dropped back to this pack, and he needs to fall in line quick, or he will possibly lose the draft and fall back to that lead pack, or the pack in the back.
Yeah, he's going to have to suck up there, get a little bit of side draft here from the 92 and the 6, which actually keeps his space a little bit, but he's actually maintaining. I know the side draft was pretty strong there with the new update, and even by himself, he actually didn't drop back too far. He's going to comfortably drop in behind the 6 right here in turn number 1. Here currently lap number 8 of 25.
Yeah, we have a 9-car pack here, just running single file, just kind of filling each other out. They're just taking it nice and easy. I think they're just setting up to have a nice little run towards the end. The pack in the back, we got 5 cars, and it's leading by Josh Mayu. He's sitting there trying to get them all back up to the front here. Got the Speed TV on board his car today. Hopefully he can win back up to that pack.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of patience to get these guys grouped up nose to tail to get back to the main pack, or a little bit of an oopsie. You know, maybe a caution comes out. Who knows? We'll see here as they enter lap number 9 of 25, entering turn number 1.
Absolutely. I'm stuck here back in the second pack, and I'm looking at Brian Bliss in the 18 and Steve Loomis in the 17. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting pretty hungry. One's got Coca-Cola and one's got Reese's. And if you know me, you know I love me some Reese's.
Yeah, it's definitely my favorite candy as well. That peanut butter chocolate combination cannot go wrong. And I know you love your Coke as well, so that's a great combo, at least for us, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's got to be Coke Zero, and I'm all in. But we still got some good racing here at the front. It's still being led by Bobby Rafferty right now. He's coming up on lap with 10 here, just coming off of turn 4, heading into the tri-oval now.
Everyone just single file, being nice and patient here, entering lap number 10. We've got 16 laps remaining in dual race number 1 and the Blue-Green Vacations dual race. That second pack, Ken, I think they're falling back further and further, so as long as there's no caution, I think it's just going to be a 2-car pack all the way through. But I know those cars in the back, 5th, 6th, 7th place, they have the time, they have the momentum, they have the side draft they could use to their advantage to get back up there. They're just playing the patient game right now as they enter turn number 3.
Yeah, they're just sitting and waiting. The group that I'm looking at here is your 4th, 5th, and 6th driver. You got James Wallace, Ryan Hedrick, and Brian Double. Those are those teammates that we were talking about earlier. They've already grouped up. They're running together, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them jump to the outside and try to make a run for this thing.
Yeah, having your teammates with you, especially in a small pack like this, when you got 3 guys that you know are going to go nose to tail and help you out to get to the front, you can't be in much better position other than being in the lead. So I know they're kind of eyeballing and maybe talking on the team chatter and trying to figure out what time is the best time, so to speak. 37's lagging back a little bit, so it can't be at this time at the moment. But actually, the 5 cars in front trying to pull away, but 37 is now bringing back the 92, 6, and 95 along with them.
Yeah, absolutely. They looked like they were going to try to pull ahead, but that 37 being back there, if that split, you know, the 67 and 47 is not going to leave their teammate hanging back there. They're going to need him for any runs that they get. But with the 02 and the 6 car behind, they might make a run for it. But right now, I still got my eyes on kind of that middle of the pack. With 37 went down a little bit. I thought he might have had some problems. Looked like he was pulling down, but he was just maybe taking a look on the inside, see how everything's going, maybe cool off a little bit.
Yeah, slight checkup. He wasn't up onto the bumper of the 47, so I'm not too sure what the game plan is. He did cause a little bit more separation between the two, maybe just for a safety net or who knows. But they're still sticking along in the main draft pack, which is all that really matters here. We get about just almost halfway of this race, and the dual race number 1, and things all the way through the pack are just single file still. Nation's patiently waiting.
Yeah, or just single file right now. They're just all taking care of their stuff, just kind of cruising along, seeing how this race plays out. Don't want to cause a caution yet. First race of the season. They kind of want to have a good starting spot for the main race.
Yeah, exactly. And also a good thing that I would be testing out is those Martin Sports gloves that you can pick up at martinsports906.com. This is actually a pretty good track if you got a new set of gloves to try them out on, because it's not an intensive track, kind of like your Atlantas or your Chicago or Phoenixes or anything that's not a super speedway. It's a lot easier of a track to get acquainted with. So martinsports906.com, get yourself a pair of Martin Sports gloves, the official sim racing glove, at least for me, and all of iRacing. So please go check them out. Great product overall. And as we take around to lap number 14 this time by, everyone's still single file. Looks like the second pack, Kenny's actually broken up a little bit more so. So they're definitely going to need a caution if they're going to want to get a chance to get back up to the front.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that second pack. It looks like the 75 car, Chuck Sweeting, was backing off of that pack, so he's actually by himself now, leaving it to a 4-car pack. And like you said, unless there's a caution, unfortunately for these guys, this duel is just not going to turn out the way they want. Looks like the 76 Matthew Norberg was looking on the outside of the 18 there. I'm not sure if he got a little run there, but maybe they can get single file and hope they can get back up there and catch up to the lead pack.
Yeah, if it runs currently how it is right now, that probably will not be the case, unfortunately, for them. But as they go, actually, we got a little bit of the 78 on the high side, or 76 rather, kind of going up there and see what's up. But he drops back a lot, so it's going to leave 3 cars there to kind of lead that pack. And as he drops back to about a half a second or so, and everybody else on the backstretch now, still single file, patiently waiting, coming up to 10 to go.
Yeah, he might be, since he's back there, he might just be trying to see how this runs are working. So for next week when they have the main event, kind of feel the draft, feel how he can catch these runs, get by a couple cars, use the side draft. So he might just be, doing a little practice run. But looks like we still got a little separation in this front pack. The 47 to the 37, there's still a little gap. I don't know if there's a little team strategy going on here, if they're trying to anticipate a run, get a little bit of run go on the high side, maybe they'll jump up. They're kind of laying back. I'm wondering what's going on there.
Yeah, he's got the teammates in front of him too, so every time I'm working with a teammate, I know I'm up close to his car, but maybe it's just a big safety net if something does go awry, that the whole team will be taken out at once, or maybe he's trying to feel out how strong this draft package sucks up. There could be a couple different scenarios here, and I'm going to keep my eyes glued on him because I'm kind of curious of what that game plan all entails.
Yeah, me as well. I think that's going to be the group to watch here, and the 37 and the 47, both of those cars are your actual rookies this year. You have Brian Dubel and Ryan Hedrick. Those are your rookies for this package here. And then, like I said, James Wallace is the coming back after a little hiatus, and they're all just kind of rolling side by side. So that's definitely the group to watch.
Yeah, the 37 actually came up a little bit closer than what we've seen him in the past 5 to 10 laps or so. Looks like he rebacks up again, so I'll retract that statement there. Kind of just leaving that separation for the top 5 to kind of just do their own thing. We haven't seen any aggressive bump drafting at all. I don't think I've seen bump drafting, period. The 19 almost gets to the back of the 77 there to kind of extend that lead a little bit, but as we know at Daytona, if you go out too far and get sucked in, you're going to lose your spots in a quick hurry. In a hurry.
Yeah, that's, they're just kind of riding single file, like you said. Not very much drafting going on. I think they're just trying to play a little conservative here. Bobby Rafferty, he's enjoying it, though. He's just ticking off the laps as they go, just seeing how everyone's playing out behind him, anticipating any runs that might be made here in the closing laps.
Yeah, we got about 8 laps to go here in the Blue-Green Vacation Duel Race number 1. Still single file all the way through. Just a very relaxed first race here. I'm surprised, Kenny, that I haven't seen the action yet. I would imagine at this point in time, some guys are starting to get grouped up and ready to go. Maybe you see the 37 sucking in a little closer here again to the 47. Trying, I'm not too sure. I still got my eyes peeled. I'm kind of curious. They got to go high because I don't think the 77, 19, and 2 are going to move off that bottom because they've been glued to it all dual race long.
Yeah, they've just been painting the yellow line this whole race. Just kind of those top 3 there, just single file. But I like keep on watching that 37. I'm waiting to see what he's doing there because I feel like there's going to be a run of some sort that's going to be coming from that general area of the track. And like we were talking about earlier, it was interesting to see how these duels are going to go. Sometimes you have the one that's just nice and relaxed, and you got the one that's a go-getter. Right now, this one's kind of showing us just nice and relaxed. Just wait and see what happens.
And as we're kind of watching these cars and guys just kind of do their own thing right now, I just want to do a quick shout out here for Richie Coy. Had a tough time during the off season. He lost his father for unfortunate circumstances, and he's got a commemorative decal on his car can to kind of support his father for this race to kind of maybe bring us some extra luck. So a quick shout out to him to kind of show support for his dad, and maybe that'll carry him to where he needs to go in victory lane, because that'd be nothing better for him just to give him a W,
Yeah, that'd be a great way. First race with that decal on there, put it in victory lane. His dad be looking down from above and just be smiling about that. And yeah, it's a sad thing to hear, and it's nice to see that he's out here and rocking that decal. So he's gonna be driving with a little extra motivation this year. So he's gonna be a driver worth watching.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's huge motivation to have, someone from above cheer you on, and I'm sure he wants to get that done for him for sure. Nothing more that would drive him other than that. So coming up to 5 laps to go now in this dual race number 1. Still single file all the way through. These guys are really impressing me here. If you guys watched our races previously, I always try to make some type of prediction. I'm never correct. And at this point in time, they're just really spaced out. Really surprised what's going on here. But I would imagine in the next lap or 2, we are going to finally see some action.
I think so. I probably sound like a broken record, but I'm going to keep going back. I think the 67 is going to make a run, and his 2 teammates, the 47 and the 37, they're going to go with him. James Wallace is going to try to take this thing to the front, using a little bit of side draft, I'd imagine, but you never know what's going to happen. But that's kind of the prediction I'm going with. I know I started with the 2, which he's been kind of sitting up there this whole race looking good, but these team cars, the way they're spreading out right now, I don't know if they're, like I said, they're grouping up right here. You can see him kind of broke this 47's backing off from the 67 there.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that as well. And what I'm kind of eyeballing here is you see the 47 got a really good run, so we know that draft is there. What I'm seeing is I think the 2 with that space he has between him and the 19, if the 67, 47, and 37 can get nose to tail with that little gap there, I think they can shoot to the high side and get enough momentum to at least get side by side, and that outside momentum's definitely there if they can take advantage of it.
Here comes the 6 car.
Yep, the 6 car with the 95 as well. Going to be the first 2 cars to make that move. So if we see the teammates jump up right now, it might be a little 5-on-4 action on the top side.
Yeah, James Torrey's trying to lead that pack with Ralph Nolan Jr. right behind him. They're trying to get the high side rolling. It's just the 2 of them, though, so they're going to need some help up there. Like you said, maybe the teammates of the 37, 47, and 67 are going to jump up there, and we might have a 4-on-4 pack here.
Yeah, if they move up to the top right now, the 37's almost cleared. He was cleared there, exiting 4, and now he's got the 6 to his right rear quarter panel. Does clear him once again. That outside momentum, though, should carry him back to the outside quarter panel of the 37, which it does. If they can come down just a little bit further to get a nice little side draft, you see him pick up some huge momentum. I don't know if there's a slight checkup by the leader or not, but the 6 now is going to be passing the 47, entering 3.
Big checkup there. Looks like the bottom pack there checked up, and they gave them a huge run, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hold it. They're on the high side, but that low side's getting that momentum back. Coming to 2 to go.
Yeah, we see a 3rd car join the pack here. Now it's going to be a little 5-on-3 session here. Yeah, the move's going to happen this lap. I know the 2nd place car, the 19, he's waiting for probably the last corner with that side draft being so strong, but once those guys move up to the top side, he's got to make that move erratically real quick to kind of secure a spot.
Absolutely. You see Ralph Nolan Jr. giving the rear bumper to James Torrey there, trying to give him all the push that he can. And you also have the 92 of Dean Geert coming in here, just trying to make it a 3-wide pack. Here comes a little bit of run on the outside. They're going to push it into turn 3. Going to have a good run coming here. Going to push their way up to almost the 4th place.
Yep, Dean Gear putting on some good pressure on the top side as they are nose to tail now sucked up. They should be able to get a good run here on the top side. 3 on 5, and they're not losing any momentum. That just shows you how strong the top is entering the white flag.
Yeah, that top side has all the momentum right now, and I'm just waiting for someone to jump from this inside the top side and try and take this win, possibly and gain their position a spot or two as well.
6 had a checkup or something. He lost a lot of momentum. That just killed the outside line there. Single file, we see the 2 kind of looking up. The 19 looks up, blocked by the 77. The 19 goes down by himself. The 2 takes over in the top spot.
Yeah, we got some runs coming. Here comes the 67 with the 47 trying to get behind him. James Wallace, is he going to make it 3 wide? He's going to try to take it to the outside. We have the 2 car of Rob Shoemaker. Oh, you're going to wreck. Oh, in the wall.
Huge wreck here. 77 escapes. We get more in the wall. 6 upside down. The 47 involved as well. Coming to the start-finish line. It looks like we're going to have the 77 of Bobby Rafferty take the checker flag. Second place with the 19 just on his outside. 37 third. And 4th place as well being Dean Gear, who just came up with that pack late run, and he gets to secure top 5.
And here comes the rest of that second pack. Actually, you know what? By being in the back, they actually didn't lose that much. They gained some spots. Josh Mayer, who actually was all the way back in 10th place, I believe, ended up getting 6th.
Oh man, that's huge there. Yeah, they had such a good position to be in to kind of secure the upper half of the field, and then that's just unfortunate. Sometimes being in the back is the safe bet, and for some drivers, it definitely helped out for them.
Yeah, here we go on the Nerd TV replay. Looks like here, Dukar here was trying to go too wide to get the Rob Shoemaker and just ended up going into the wall, ended up collecting James Wallace and ended their night. And I believe was it the 6 car that we saw? Yep, there he is right there. He took heavy roll. Reminded me of Rusty Wallace years back.
And Rusty Wallace off the X of the tri-oval, and then the 47 nails the inside retaining wall as well. And that's going to conclude race number 1. Admins are quick to work and getting dual race number 2 up and running real fast. So we're actually going to take a little short intermission break, and we're going to meet you back at dual race number 2 back at Daytona here shortly.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason.
right, guys, welcome back from that short intermission here as we get set up now for the Blue-Green Vacation Duel Race number 2 at Daytona International Speedway. We just saw Bobby take the checker flags for heat race number 1, and these guys are getting warmed up now for the second duel session of the night, and then we'll have a 25-lapper after this just for fun, so everyone can kind of, let loose, have some fun before the big race next week in the Daytona 250.
Yeah, that was a kind of the last 2 laps there. They started getting eventful. It was just kind of just nice steady pace the whole race. Bobby was out front the whole race, so I'm sure he enjoyed that because he didn't have to tear up his car. Threw a little block on the backstretch and still brought it home P1.
Yeah, it definitely worked out in his favor. Took it home, so he'll be starting in first place as well come next Monday. So this field, though, turning back to this field, a lot of good racers out here, Ken. We got last season's champion at Casey McMullen and a couple of guys out here that I'm kind of watching, and they look a little more sporty, a little more aggressive, and we might have more side-by-side action this 25 laps.
Yeah, definitely. Might see a little bit more action on this one. Like you said, you got Casey McMullen, last year's defending champion. You also have Brody Hanna on here. He's a 4-time series champion. I think he also has 15 career wins in the Cup Series. That leads the way with all active drivers, if I'm not stating wrong. I think it's going to be an exciting one on this one. Maybe a little bit more action, a little bit more racing.
You see a lot of 2-car tandems here in this session as they wait for everyone to join the session. Just because, they're just quick enough to join in. They had everything set up, and then they had a little bit of an error. So heat race number 2, or I keep calling it heat race, but dual race number 2, kind of just waiting for those people to join in once they realize, hey, it's the time to get in there and go. But a lot of teammates, I think, are working together. I see a lot of 2-car packs here getting a little practice.
Yeah, I'm sitting here watching the 33 of Sherwood Wilford and 71 of Casey McMullen here doing their 2-car tandem. That green, neon green, or Volt, however you want to call it, color with that Pizza Hut logo is looking pretty sharp out there, I do say. That is a color that I'm very fond of.
Yeah, I know you. Anything in the green spectrum definitely hits a little home and heart there, and it's kind of a weird color for Pizza Hut. They're white, black, and red, and here he is in a highlighted green car, but as we talked about in dual race number 1, the under the light scenario with those bright colors, they really pop, and that 33 is showing why it is so cool to run these kind of schemes late at night, because that car is just so bright sitting out there. You can't miss him, right?
You can't miss him. He's sticking out like a sore thumb. Kind of reminds me of the Menards car that you had from, now that Ryan Blaney's sporting it. That's really what it's reminding me of. But yeah, that one looks good. And I also like Casey's car. I like the little, American flag that he's got going on the side there. That's a sharp little look that he has, and it's looking good under the lights as well.
You can't go wrong with the an American flag at all in your paint job. No matter how you deploy it, it always looks good. And that car does look pretty good. I like the chrome orange wheels. That car's looking pretty sporty. Huge skid mark sponsor there on the side, and that's kind of a fitting sponsor placement for the new layout. As you see, the numbers are obviously at this point by now pushed forward, so you can have a huge spot there. And a lot of these paint jobs, I'm actually quite happy about. The cars look pretty good. You mentioned the Menards car a little bit ago. I think there was a car out here. It looks like the number 11 has a pretty similar Menards skin. I think it actually is sponsored by Menards for this event. He sure is. Definitely has that strong Menards feeling with a little bit of a cool, unique touch to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely see he's got that sponsor. A little bit different shade of green, but it is a nice little accents that they have on there. And we know you being the painting guy, that's the one thing that you're going to be looking at is these paint jobs and eyeing them over very well, because that's your number one thing there. But there is some good looking paint jobs. So if Jay Stan says you got a good paint job, that goes a long way.
Yeah, I really appreciate a good looking car, and there's quite a few yellow cars in this one too. So we might get a little confused here and there, but it'll be all right. That 91, though, you can't miss that number with the orange, the purple fade with a green outline. I don't think I've seen anything like that before. Definitely sticking out like a sore thumb as that term they used just a few minutes ago. And that classic yellow number 7 Pennzoil scheme, too. That's pretty nice overall. But, yeah, we're just kind of waiting. We got 1 or 2 more people that need to join the session before we kick it over to the green flag for dual race number 2. And that once again, that would be 25 laps, and then we'll get it going for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. I can't wait to get this going. I'm just ready to get some action going back in the track, and then that 25 lapper at the end is going to be a fun little expedition race. But yeah, that purple and green combo there on those wheels definitely going to stand out. And the yellow cars might get a little confusing, but those wheels will definitely help us distinguish the two.
And one thing that's not confusing is for these admins is when you have sim racing points, that unique device and website really just helps out organize your team points, your official standings for drivers, teams, just everything in general. It's a great software, customized widgets for your website, does all the math for you. Don't have to worry about anything. You just plug and play your stats, you export them right into the software, and within just a few seconds you have a complete standings official that you need to display for everybody that's curious to know what the points are. It's just a real quick, simple product. Go check them out, simracingpoints.com. I think the admin said we're waiting on one more driver before we kick this thing green. Don't know exactly who it was, just because of the virtue of the server having a little bit of an issue at the very beginning here of the broadcast. And once he comes in, we'll be good to go. But right now, it looks like fastest on the board is Shane and Wayne. Only 1/100th off of each other, and I think we see Donnie just join. I think he's the last car that we're waiting on. So once he gets all set, and I think at that point we'll be grading up for you guys.
I believe you're correct. I counted 13 that we have in the server. I believe him jumping in is going to make it at 14. I thought we had, like you said earlier, I think we had 31, but maybe we lost a couple here in the transition, because I think we only had 14 in the first race, and it looks like 14 in this one. But yeah, it looks like we're just waiting on Donnie to join in, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that. We did lose a couple. Not entirely sure why. I know it was a little bit of intermission, but other than that, these guys will. I know in like some sports you can get iced out, like when you call icing the kicker when you call timeouts. But these guys, you can't really ice them out. The car's just a whole different animal, and you get the whole pace lap 3 warm up. So not really being iced per se. They're just actually just getting extra practice and only benefiting them and the teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always enjoyable when you get a little bit extra practice out there, kind of find a groove, feel the car is, take it to the high side, take it to the low side. Just make some moves that you're kind of anticipating making on the last couple of laps here, and hopefully end up in victory lane and start up towards the front in the big race next Monday.
Quick call out from league owner Brody. He gave us about 1 minute left until he's going to kick it over for the race, regardless of who's here or who's not. So real shortly here, we will see them guys grid up and get ready for that green flag action. Once again, 25 laps. That'll determine the outer lane of the 250-mile race next week, Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And right after the duel race, stick around because we have one more little 25-lap fun race as well. It should be a blast because there's nothing on the line, no points, no nothing. And when you get guys like this that are really competitive all together in a non-official race, lots of moves, lots of learning, and it could be a crazy run all 25 laps long.
And it's going to be a good preview of what we're going to see next week too, because you're going to have both fields from both duels. So we're going to have a 28, maybe a 31, depending on what happened. We're going to get all those on one, and it's just going to be excitement, probably from the drop of the green flag all the way to the checker flag.
Just seeing that Brody has kicked over to the race session. So at this point in time, since it is going to the grid, we're going to get our faces off the screen for the duels number 2. And we'll walk you through the 25 laps here, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well, as just as much, if not more so, than the first one. All right, Kenny, the cars are currently gridding up here. We've got almost the whole grid here set up before they come off the pit road with the pace truck, that is. And I know I called my shot of maybe having a little bit more of an aggressive, a little bit more excitement in this event. What's your take on this dual race number 2?
Just from looking at practice, I think there's going to be a lot more moves going on, a lot more passing, maybe even some 3-wide action. Definitely saw a lot more bump drafting. Hopefully this pack can stay together. I know having that 5-car pack kind of fall off of the main pack. Definitely hurt the racing a little bit, but I'm excited to see it. Looks like here on the start, I have the number 89 here of Shane actually ran into the back of the 14, so hopefully that doesn't cause any damage to him and he can maintain speed.
Yeah, going back and look at it myself, just a little bit of a tap, and I know from experience this weekend that it did not affect. I also saw some cars that did not have a hood and were still keeping up pace, and I think I was one of them, if I am true on that in the last 10 laps. So I know it does look crunched in for sure. I don't think it's going to affect him, though, personally.
No, absolutely not. But right now we can go through the grid here for your Bluegreen Vacations duel number 2 at Daytona. Starting on the pole, we have Gil Koch, and in second place, Tony Soler. Third place, you're going to have Brody Hanna. Fourth place is Ryan Gracie. Fifth place is going to be Sherwood Wilford. Sixth place, Casey McMullen. And seventh place is going to be Kenneth Schultz.
Eighth place is going to be Lane Allen. Ninth place will be Kevin Rupert. Rounding out the top 10 will be Shane Papala. 11th place will be Josh Johnson. 12th, Johnny Shabit. And to round out the field in 13th will be Jeff Brayton. The pit car is on turn number 4. As you see, the pace car does dip down right at the last second before these guys get up on the throttle here. And I think you have to wait for the green flag to wave, and anytime after that, it is all up to the driver. But right now, we're going to wait for the green flag to come out, which it is right now. Green flag. Gil with a decent jump there. He kind of like led the pack there, almost a whole car length advantage, and gets a good start over the 11. Clears everyone before turn 1.
Yeah, great start on that one. It looks like the same thing as we had on the first duel. You got the inside that got a little bit better jump than the outside. Now, of course, it's on the iRacing start on the first one. But it looks like that high side is going to try and kick it back. You got the 11 of Tony Soler that's leading that high side. You got a couple people in the back jumping up to it.
Yeah, they're side by side. We got a little bit more people on the top side this time around. Early 3 wide as we see Gil go back. It shoved the 2 cars below him. Kind of go below the yellow line just for a quick moment. But then the middle line actually has a little quick motivation there. Is the 85 got a good side draft off to 33, and these cars, when these side draft, they actually slow down the car that's in front of you, and you see them pass back and forth. The 85 with a really strong run uses the 7, almost he does put him in the wall, but they still go straight on to lap number 2.
Yeah, 85 taking it 3 wide. He actually got it a couple of them here. Got a middle lane formed. We got a couple 3 wide, 2x2 in the back there. But 85 of Gil is going. Oh, nope, he's down back on the inside, so he's going to try to take a run here and get a push on the inside.
Early aggressive moves to start off dual race number 2. We still see 3 wide, the 71 going up the middle, going to the 11's rear bumper here. That's currently on the I side of the 85. They get a good run as the 23 almost looks like he checked up a little bit. The 11 might be side by side with the 23 exiting turn number 4.
Yeah, the 11 here of Tony Soler is trying to get a run on the top side. He's got Casey McMullen right behind him trying to give him a push, but they just don't have enough men up there right now. Looks like the 7's a little bit too far back to give him that push, but right now the inside is just pulling away. Brody Hanna, no surprise, leading. Like I said, the active driver leading wins right now in the series. He's trying to get himself a dual win and have a good spot starting next week.
He's in the best place possible here. As the 85, though, runs really aggressively all up on that rear bumper, bump drafting him and bump drafting him. As you see on Nerd TV, you can see inside the bumper. He is so close. He just has to pay attention to the temperature gauge. That engine will heat up, so you can only do that for a couple laps in this car before you have to back off and give some air to that grill.
Yeah, Gil Koch is he's just giving all over in there. He's got the Gator Racing scheme. I actually enjoy those palm trees that's on there. Nice little Florida touch that we got going here at Daytona Beach. But we got a little bit run on the outside here. It looks like they're going to try to build up another momentum run. Looks like it's going to be coming up on the outside here. I'm not exactly sure who that is on the outside there. But they are making a move here on the outside.
Yeah, the leader of that pack is going to be Donnie Shabitz there in the 90 Sim Cube Camaro, as he's trying to get that outside rallied up. They're 4 cars deep right now with the 90, 11, 71, and 7, and then 14 as well on the Mountain Dew car. So 5 cars, and if they can get one more car up there, I think they got a good shot here as they make momentum, passing the 91 on the top side.
Yeah, Donnie straw bits, like you said, is he's actually trying to get that side draft coming. This got a little 3-car pack pull away here, but they're going to get roped in here. The 91's going to make a good run. I feel like it's going to see if he's going to go high or if he's going to stay down low on the bottom. 33 looks like he might be shifting up a little bit, but that outside is definitely building. There goes the 91 right now. He's going to take it to the high side. We're going to have him come in momentum entering turn 1.
Kenny Scholes now the lead driver in that top lane momentum there, and they are 6 cars by 8 cars if my counts correctly, and here they go. Nice momentum run off the top side of turn number 2, side by side with a 33 halfway down the backstretch.
Down the backstretch comes Kenny Scholes. He looks like he's going to be getting that momentum heading into turn 3. Brody Hanna is still leading the way. He's getting pushed by Gill, which has just been all over that back bumper since the drop of this green flag. He is just keeping him out in front. Needs to duck out a little bit, looks like, every now and then to catch some air off that front nose so he can cool the engine off. But other than that, those two. Here comes the 33, though, on the outside.
33 wants to lead the charge, and I think that's going to be just enough cars for them to maybe get around the 85 and the 23 here as they get all sucked up to each other. The bottom lane only has the top 3 there, and the high side is way more established. We could see a new leader here in the next lap or two.
Here comes Jeff Braden, though. Jeff Braden's on the inside as that high side slowed up. He's trying to get that momentum so he can catch up to the bottom 3. He is a few car lengths back, though, so it's going to be a little bit hard. He's going to need some help if he's going to make his way up here. Here comes the 57 of Josh Johnson. Actually, he's going to be catching him. Here they come. They're getting a run on 55. Let's see if he's going to go to the high side or keep it low.
Sherwood Williford kind of falling back here a little bit as that high side, as you said, kind of dissipated as they kind of went back to the safety area there on the bottom, especially there in turn 3 and 4. The people kind of gave up. The 55 almost wants to look up there, try to make something happen himself, that being Jeff Bradenton. As he goes back to the top side, wants to lead the 33. If he can get a good side draft there off of number 1, I think he's got a good chance.
I think you're correct there, Jeremy. I think that's all they got to do. They just got to get a nice run on that high side because they do have the cars. A little check up there, though, so that's going to definitely slow the momentum. As you can see, that bottom side is now just taking off from that top side. The top side is falling back with a quickness. A little bit of a check up there as entering turn 3 from the 71, but right now that low side is still leading the way.
Yeah, the draft with these cars is so detrimental to have done correctly. You saw that little bit of a bobble there, not squared on the bumper, had a lift. That was one car. All of a sudden, the cars on the top dropped back 3 positions, and everyone shifted to the bottom just because they knew that line was checked up. As they start to get a good run here, once again, the 71 is going to clear the 57, entering turn number 1. They got something going again.
Yeah, they do. If you see the 71, your defending series champion jump up to the high side, that's not a bad guy to follow in line with because he might lead you up to the front, which he is making a run right now. Like you said, they just got to get to that 1. I think if they get to that 1, get a little bit of side draft and kind of pull that momentum up there, they do have a shot at these leaders. But right now, they're just kind of getting about 4th place back, and then it's just stalemate.
McMullen also was your top qualifier there in the individual car qualifying session, so he definitely knows the way around this track for sure. They got 5 cars still currently on the top. They are side by side with the 57, and I think if they just need to keep going down a little bit further, kind of press the issue to get that side draft because it is really strong. He's starting to do it right here, and there he goes, trying to pass the 57 with a nice clean shot there off the top, entering turn number 1 and in the middle of turn number 1 and 2 right now.
And they're side by side, 5 rows deep from 4th on back. Right now, the 3 cars that are out in the lead, they're just kind of single file, just trying to stay away from these 2 these 2 wide racing here. Looks like that bottom side still getting the momentum. The 57 of Josh Johnson, he keeps getting a run. I don't know if he's practicing the run to try to shoot to the high side or if he's just kind of sitting back there, but you can see him building up that run like he's anticipating to jump up to that high side.
Yeah, it's a good practice for this race for sure, knowing you're still guaranteed to be in the main event next week. And the 57, I would expect him to jump up with the 71, knowing that he's the last season's champion. And what a better... You can't have much of a better drafting partner than him, but he is actually going to stay down low side here as the 71. Casey is going to be to his right side corner pedal once again. He's going to try to take 4th place from Josh Johnson as they are side by side exiting turn number 2.
Yeah, Johnson to jump upside, like you said, might be a good idea because all of his teammates, as we saw, were in the first duel. So he is out here by himself. He is a new driver to the Cup Series. He actually was an Xfinity driver last season, and he's been showing some fast speed, so he's looking to make an impact here in the Cup Series this year. But as we see, they get up to about that 4th place on the outside line, and they just can't get any further than that. They need to get to that 1 car, and that way they can make a run to those leaders.
If he knows these guys running side by side as the side draft kind of pulls the car ahead back a little bit, kind of like a rubber band, It's allowed the top three to kind of have a little bit of a breathing room there, as they're just kind of 2 to 3 tenths of a second ahead of everybody else, comfortably running nose to tail.
Yeah, as we see, we got them still 2 wide, 5 rows deep here. Looks like they're having a nice little battle with themselves, like you said, as these 3 on the bottom are just single file, slowly just staying away, keeping a couple 3-car lengths away. That 57, though, here he comes on the outside. He's going to make a run.
Huge run from the 57, goes up top, and nobody's there with him. And just like that, the rubber band pulls him back, and now he's 3 wide. Going to fall multiple positions here.
Yeah, he is hung out to dry. He needs to get down right now to the 71, or he is going to be up there left, hung out to dry, and he will find his way in the back of this field. That high side has lost all momentum. The low side is now just taken over. We do have a 7-car breakaway here, just single file, with still Brody Hanna leading the way, coming off of turn 2.
Josh Johnson completely falls back to last place in dual race number 2. Falls back to the 55 there, and he's going to go underneath him to try to pick up 1 spot. That high side really needs to show its strength here, or else they're just going to, the time's coming down, Kenny. They're almost halfway done with this event, and guys back there in 9th, 10th, 11th, they need to get something going early to kind of put themselves in position for the top spot.
Absolutely. I think with Josh Johnson, we have the 55, actually. He's making a run. Jeff Braden, I think he's trying the outside. He actually is passing 3 cars. A 71 jumps up to the outside. Now we got a couple here on the outside. We got 3 cars with a head of steam coming their way. Looks like they're getting slowed up, though, a little bit by the 90 of Donnie. But that inside lane is just showing really strong runs here, and the outside just can't seem to get going.
Now we got good guys up there at the top right now with Donnie and Casey, and looks like they got a decent run right now. If they can actually keep this is what they need. The top 3 cars have fallen back to the 4th place car, that being Shane Papala. So if they can kind of keep them grouped together, the side draft might bring them up there. We see the 33 as well go back to the top. Now we have 4 cars again on the high line.
Yeah, they're actually starting to make a run. Like you said, that side draft is coming into play. I'd like to see him get one or 2 more cars up there and actually make a run for this inside row. Brody and Gil and Kevin, they're just all 3 just kind of just cruising along, maintaining their spot, trying to have a good starting spot for next week. The battle right now is in the middle of this pack. I won't be surprised if we see Josh Johnson kind of make his way back up, though. I know we got 12 laps to go. There's still a lot of time here at Daytona. You saw him up there trying to battle on the high side and got pushed back to the rear of this field. But I could see him kind of making his way back up, especially on that high side if he goes up there with him.
Yeah, he knows how to make the moves. He's got to make them correctly, and he can find himself up there in just a handful of laps, which they're coming up with 11 to go this time by. And you got 4 cars currently on the top. The 90 Sim Cube Chevrolet there. He's been running up there quite a bit, that being Donnie Staubitz. And so he's got huge pressure on the back there by Casey McMullen. And they need to get something going. They need to really tighten up nose to tail here and do something, because right now I'm really surprised the high side's not doing what it was doing just this past weekend with this new draft package. And maybe there's a new update from iRacing again to kind of tame things a little bit. I'm not too sure, but right now, he almost dumps Donnie there. And believe it or not, they still are passing people even after that.
It gave him an accident. That was one of those where they failed successfully, almost spin him, and actually gave him a nice little run. And actually, he's going to be coming up here. He needs to side draft this 1 car and make his way up to the front. But you have Donnie and Casey here leading that outside lane. They need 1 more to jump up there, and they could have a 5 car, and we might have a battle here for the lead very soon, going into turn 1.
Yeah, he found the nitrous button there in the left rear quarter panel of Donnie, and that propelled them all the way up to almost passing 3rd place here. He's really close to doing so. If we can almost turn him 1 more time, I think they might be at the lead.
Yeah, he just needs to have a nice little run here. They're inside on the 1 car. This is the one that we've been saying all race. If they can get into that 3rd car in line, they might have a chance to kind of propel back around with that side draft as we head into turn 3 or 4. The top 2 here, we got Brody and Gil still 1-2, and then we're 2 rows deep for 4, or 2 wide for 4 rows deep, and coming into the tri-oval.
Donnie leading the charge here still as he enters the tri-oval here with about 9 laps to go. He has cleared passing the number 1 car here on the bottom there. Almost to 85, a little bit of a checkup, comes off the 23's bumper, and I think this is what Donnie needs to get up there for the top spot.
Here he comes, Donnie on the outside. He's going to make his run. He's going to side draft off the 85 of Gil, and he's going to try and get up here right beside Brody Hanna for the number 1 spot as they're coming down the backstretch. On that outside momentum is rolling now. Look who's in there. Look who's in the back of that one. Josh Johnson. I figured he'd jump up there and soon make a run. And they're going into turn 3, and we might have a new leader like when we come around to the start finish.
Yep, Donnie has nosed the 23 right here. A little bit of a bobble there by Casey McMullen off the 85 entering turn number 3. Does kind of space the outside up a little bit, but it's not going to affect them. Casey sucking up back quickly to Donnie Schaubitz's rear bumper. Donnie still takes the point with 8 to go.
We have a new leader here with 8 to go with Donnie. And Schaubitz in the lead spot with Casey McMullen pushing them all the way. Let's see if they end up staying on the high side or if they're going to dip it down low and pull that inside. Hopefully they keep on the outside, because if they do, that outside is going to drop in a hurry.
I mean, yeah, they're still running 5 right now. It was 5 by 8, and they still made it up there. So I think the momentum shift has finally showed its face. Let's see if Casey and Donnie do keep it on the top side.
Big bump draft.
Yeah, huge bump draft kind of propelled them out there, and the 23 is actually making a good run with the 85, tucking up to that rear bumper as we've seen all duel long, getting back up there side by side with the 90.
Yeah, we're coming to 7 to go here, and it looks like we got this whole pack here. The 11 car of Tony Soler, I think he's just kind of waiting it out, see what happens. He's kind of just been sitting in the back. He was starting up front. He's got a fast car, so we know he's going to make his way up there, but it looks like he's just kind of looking at everything, sitting back, seeing where he's going to make a run. You know he's got plenty of time, kind of seeing how this high side, low side's running. He's going to pick his line.
Gill is still all over the back bumper of the number 23, being Brody Hanna, and it's just a duel right now. It's a drag strip down the backstretch here as the top and bottom lanes are the same car count essentially here. Not one more stronger than the other. You see the inside has the advantage there in the corner. Then off the corner exit, you see the 90 here of Donnie just propel himself out there. Can duck down if he wants to in front of the 23. We have 6 laps to go.
And they are side by side, and we are talking this whole entire pack. So they're 7 rows deep side by side. This is the the action pack that we've been looking forward to. They kind of were sitting there waiting in the wind, and now this high side's rolling, and now we're starting to see it. And we talked about this earlier, but I just kind of popped up with those lights just coming off the track on those cars, and something about that night racing at Daytona as they're going down the backstretch, heading to turn 3 with 6 to go.
Beautiful sight for sure here. We see Gil Gawk once again, all still over the back bumper of the 23. We will not let him go. He's going to have to get some air on that nose so he doesn't blow that thing up, because we do have 5 laps to go coming to the green, or to the start-finish line, that is. Brody does lose the lead temporarily to Donnie as they just trade back and forth for the top spot.
Yeah, like you're saying, Gil is all over the back bumper of Brody. Brody's definitely being a wheel man today. Hopefully he's got him some Martin Sports sim racing gloves, because he is all over that wheel, because he is getting just pushed all over this track.
Kevin Rupert, we haven't really mentioned him. I mean, we've talked about him being in the number 1. He's just patiently waiting, currently 3rd in line right now on the bottom car in that black and green car. He's been pretty strong. He hasn't gotten, in a risky position, kept that car nice and clean. I think he's got no scratches on that thing. If there's a slight incident like we saw on heat, right there.
Almost all on the wall.
The 90 and 85. Oh, here we go.
Big checkup.
71 and 1. Turning around.
All right, man.
Caution is out.
Caution is out.
Oh, that's unfortunate. We just lost about half of the cars. Casey McMullen, his whole front clip is gone. He definitely has some motor damage. Unfortunately, I think he is done for the night.
Yeah, quite a few cars involved. Started by the 90 and the 85 door touching each other, and then the 71 and the 1. I was just talking about them. Actually, the 71 got a little bit of help there by the black and yellow car there. Kind of whipped him around into the 1, and that just caused multiple cars to get damaged. Yeah,
looking here on the Nerd TV replay, you can just see they kind of got a little bottled up there, and everyone kind of scattered, and unfortunately just touched a little bit too much and sent everyone for a ride. And we definitely lost some cars. I saw the 33. He is running, but he also is missing his front bumper as well. So, he is not going to be contending for this one as much as he would like.
Yeah, try and get an official car count here in this one, and I'm seeing at least, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars with that Pizza Hut car late getting smashed up. That was the one who lost his front bumper. That was Sherwood Williford. I think about 6 cars in total, Kenny, involved in that one. That's huge there. Is we're going to be I think we're going to have a green-white checkered attempt in this dual session, which we will hit because right now we are coming up with 2 to go on the official first 25 laps.
Yeah, you can see the 55 there. Almost caught Airlike in the first duel, but luckily for him, because he can keep going. His car's got a little bit of damage on it. Luckily, those tires stayed on the ground, because if not, his night definitely would have been done in the duels. It's unfortunate we did lose a lot of good cars there, but good thing for the drivers. This is the duel, so they're going to go to a backup, and they'll be back at it next week.
Yeah, they're just going to start a little bit further back in the field, which, I mean, for 250 miles, I think they're going to be sitting pretty okay, as we've seen some moves here, like from Gil Gawk and a couple others that just, you just kind of pick your line. If you move quickly, you can pass around, and it's definitely very doable. So it just makes it more comfortable when you have the top spot, and if you can start with a teammate or, have that first pit stall up front there where you just barely get on the gas and exit pit road, and there's some advantages to being up there, but at the end of the day, sometimes being in the back might be your safe place.
Yeah, the back, could be a toss-up, and it is a good safe place if you're sitting back there avoiding the wrecks, but as we see with the 57 of Josh Johnson, he fell all the way to the back when he got stuck on the high side, made his run up on the high side there, avoided the wreck, and he is now sitting in the 6th position, so he's going to be starting in row 3 on this restart, and I'm not going to be surprised if he's not a contender, because he does look strong.
Definitely, for sure. And this is the first time that if you have the iRacing iFlag product sitting on your desk, this is the first time you're seeing it in action here with a yellow flag. Dual race number 1, perfectly clean, iRacing iFlag, the official partner of the race information for the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series and the Cup Series and the trucks. Check out their product, very unique, one of a kind. Brings the track lights to your cockpit, to your sim rig. Nothing else I like it. Like I said, it's a very unique, one-of-a-kind deal. It simulates all flags real time. As soon as iRacing triggers it, boom, you see it. It's right in your face. You can't miss it. Like, for me, if you get a meatball flag or if you get the blue flag and you aren't paying attention to the top half of your screen there, the top right corner, you're going to miss the flag, but this system does not let you do that. So, iRacingIFlag.com. Go ahead and check them out. Promotion code SUPERNERD at checkout for 15% off. Now, Kenny, pace lights are out. 1 of 1 green-white checker just confirmed. So this will be the only attempt. After the green flag drops, the next flag will end the race. Yeah,
the 1 green-white checkered is standard here in this league, so that's what we're going to see all season long, is we're just going to see 1 at a time. Hopefully this one finishes under green, though. I'd hate to see it finish under caution, but I think once we get going back the racing, it looks like we're going to have 8 of them here on the lead lap in this final pack. Unfortunately, it looks like we lost the other part of this half, but still some strong drivers up front, and I'm excited for an exciting finish here.
Yeah, it looks like we have 8 cars in total, which, I mean, even with 8 cars, how they are racing side by side, I think they're not going to let us down here with another exciting finish. We'll have to see for sure as they take the green flag. You get 1 lap to wind up in speed, and then the other lap is just get it and try to get all you can to get to the top spot. We see 9 cars, actually. The 91 has kind of crept back up into the field behind the number 11 that popped up on my view, so we'll have 9 cars to settle this thing out.
Yeah, he kind of snuck in on us there. He looks like he has a little bit of damage, but nothing that's going to hold him back. There's a couple, but the cars out front definitely are clean, and they're going to have the power down.
Absolutely. Brody sees the pace car dip
Green
down,
flag,
wait for the green flag. Green flag is out real quick. Side by side, 23 and the 85. Identical starts there. As 85 actually getting a little bit extra momentum of Gil Gawk there, getting some good help from behind him. With Shane Papala, as they are nose to tail. The 23 actually lost the 90 for a little bit. That's going to help Gil get to the top spot, I think, here. All by himself as he gets a good run off the exit of turn number 2 with the 57 is there to help him.
Absolutely, yeah. The 14 of Lane Allen had a spin. Looks like he spun the tires, had a terrible start on it, but he lost some momentum. The 57 is now pushing the 85. We almost had a little wreck there, but you got the 85 of Gil trying to get right beside Brody here to keep it going in there, but Brody's going to lead us off into turn 3, coming off of turn 4. That low side looks like it is going to be the way to go to win this race today, because Brody is just pulling away right now, so let's watch out for the run.
Josh Johnson, 3 wide, finally gets back down there as he falls back several spots, as he's going to, I think, 6th place in the final lap. He's passes 2 cars, Papala and 85 there.
Can make a run on the high side.
And he goes to the top side, going to use some side draft here on the 11 car. And if they get that top side going, they might have something, but I don't know. It might be a little bit too late, Ken.
It might be. I see that 14 and the 57, they're going to actually pair up here. You're going to have Josh Johnson with Wayne Allen. Looks like they're going to try and make a run on the high side right now. Here he goes right now, 57, and Josh Johnson's going to try to make a run going into turn 3, Jeremy.
Tries to get to the top of Tony Stellar. It did not happen that time, so it looks like it's going to be a 3-car battle exiting turn number 4. We see Brody Hanna leading the way. We see Donnie with a strong car. Exit turn number 4. The 11 Tony goes down low, gets slight contact. Good to go.
Oh, they
Turns
were
for
coming
Donnie.
in.
Huge wreck there, but it does not matter for Brody as he's going to take home the checkered flag. Second place is going to be with Tony Solar. Third place, Josh Johnson. Fourth place, Lane Allen. Top 5 is Donnie Schabitz. We're going to go back to the Nerd TV replay to check out all that action there.
Yeah, it was a good finish there. Both times wreck on the last lap, and the leader doesn't even see it and just cruises right on in. But let's see what we got here on Nerd TV on this replay of the final lap.
Get on board here. As you see, he gets a little bit of a hook there from his cockpit view, and then right there just nails the outside wall and T-bone as he crosses the start-finish line. Heavy contact, but good thing these cars are virtual, and he didn't actually feel that in his seat. That was a heavy, heavy hit.
That was a heavy hit. And I want to see what happens with the number 11, Tony Soler. He was trying to make a pass down on the inside. It looks like he was forced below the yellow line by the 90 car, but, I mean, it is coming to the try over there the last lap, so they probably will review that and see what happens. So that's one I'm going to keep an eye out and see if this 11 car is really going to stay in that second position.
Yeah, I think you're correct. The 90 of Donnie just kind of pushed him down a little bit too further than what he should have. That car dipped down pretty low, but, yeah, official word for sure. But everything's unofficial until the admins always take a look at things, but I think you're correct on that. I think he should stand in second place. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to run over the full finishing results for dual race number 2, presented by Sim Racing Points. And we got Brody Hanna once again, top spot there. Tony Solar in second. Josh Johnson in third. Lane Allen fourth. Fifth was Donnie Schabitz. Sixth, Shane Papala. Seventh, Kevin Rupert. Eighth, Gil Gawk. And Kenny, run us through the last 5.
Ninth place, we got, a fellow name was myself, Kenneth Schultz. In ninth place, 10th is going to go to Jeff Braden. 11th is Wayne Gracie. 12th, Sherwood Wilford. And 13th was my pick for this evening, Casey McMullen. Unfortunately got caught up in a wreck, but he'll be coming back strong next week in the main event.
Yes, sir. And that leaves one event left, which is going to be the 25-lap fun event. Maybe we'll get to talk to some drivers after that, but how the sessions is broken down, they're quickly going to have to transition over to that final session for the 25-lap fun race. Everyone just kind of gets together and just hash it out, So we're going to kick it over to another commercial break here. So stay tuned with us shortly. We'll be right back.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. There's a reason that Makoni Setup Shop is trusted by more virtual and real-world tracks and companies than any other setup shop in iRacing. With partners such as Stafford Motor Speedway, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Five Flags Speedway, Speed 51, and more. When you want something done right, you go to the experts at Makoni Setup Shop.
With setups available for most series on both asphalt and dirt, built by a team of professional builders consisting of some of the top talents on the service, Makoni Setup Shop LLC has what you need to hit the track with confidence. Head over to MakoniSetupShop.com and learn why Makoni Setup Shop is the official setup shop of Richmond Raceway Esports and is partnered with some of the largest names in virtual and real racing.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
All right, guys, welcome back to the third stint of this evening. The dual races are out of the way, and the field is set for the 250-mile race next Monday night, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Nerd TV. Right now, though, we're getting ready to grid up for the 25-lap fun race. Just a little fun thing for the drivers to get loosened up one more time before the big event. And got about 13 cars. Looks like are going to take the field for this late night fun event. The grid lineup we're going to go over is brought to you in part by the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series that hosts the Cup and Truck Series that we'll be broadcasting on Mondays and Wednesdays. We got Richie Coy, looks like he's going to be taking the top spot here in the random Q session. And Bobby Rafferty in second, as we saw him won dual race number 1. Third place would be Wayne Grassi. Fourth place, Casey Mullen, as you know by now, is your last season's champion. Fifth place is Kenny Scholes in the red and yellow number 91. Sixth place is going to be Lane Allen. And seventh place, Sherwood Williford.
And in 8th place is going to be your dual number 2 winner, Brody Hanna. Coming in 9th is Tony Soler. 10th is Brian Bliss. 11th is Brandon Elder. Nice to see him in the field. 12th is Steve Loomis. And rounding out the field in 13th is Dean Gear.
Now, Kenny, when I'm watching these things, I really want that butt kicker product. It's an awesome product to have if you want to have your sim rig, fully up to date, feeling the car as most realistically as possible. You got the feedback in the wheel. You get it underneath your butt. It's an awesome product to have. It's just like a D-box for your seat, 3D audio, everything. So check them out at thebuttkicker.com. 20% off Nerd TV at checkout. Pace car is dipping down here for the last 25 laps of this evening. Waiting for the go pedal. Green flag is out now. Richie Coy takes him to the line as he is side by side with Rafferty, as Rafferty actually beats him to the line. And he gets a good push there by Casey McMullen entering turn number 1.
Yeah, Bobby Rafferty is actually just continuing on where he left off in duel number 1, taking P1 right now as they dive into turn 1 and 2, followed up by the number 19 of Richie Coy, and then in 7th is Wayne Gracie as they're coming off of 2, heading on the backstretch.
Side by side all the way through, and this is just a little fun event here, nothing at stake, so we're going to see a lot of good action potentially here. As we saw in duel number 2, they gave us a hell of a show, Kenny. And you see the 19 now dip down to the bottom, which has been the preferred lane, surprisingly to me, but the 71 of Casey just takes that up and takes it to his advantage and goes to the top spot.
And look who you got sitting on the top spot, third row back, is your duel number 2 winner, Brody Hanna. He looks like he's going to be making his way up to the front again. I'm excited to see the 2 duel winners here go at it for the top spot. But as right now, you have Casey McMullen leading the pack down in the turn 1, followed by Lane Allen in second, and then your 2x2 after that.
We have 2 Chevrolets to lead the field, and then we have a couple of Ford Mustangs there to kind of separate them. Don't think there's any Toyotas in this event. Actually, there's one, the 18, the Reese's car that made us hungry. Must have forgot about him. He's currently sitting in 6th place there on the top side. 4th car back on the top.
And as you see there, you have the 23 of Brody Hanna. He's going down the low side. He's going to actually make a run here. He's going to be pushed on the inside. You have the 19 of Richie Coy giving him a push, followed by Bobby Rafferty on that bottom line. That top line is still prevailing as the 71 of Casey McMullen is going to actually lead this lap as they're coming around through the tri-oval. But I see the 23 here, Brody Hanna. He's making a run going into turn 1.
I'm seeing a slight shift over to the top, starting to get a little more familiar with people, and they're running a little bit more up there. But right now, that 23, though, is just, he's on a rail right now. Brody Smith, who just won that dual race number 2, as you pointed out, got sole possession of first, currently with a 19 of Richie Coy, who started on the pole spot here in this race, currently right behind him in second.
Yeah, we got him going here. 71 of Casey McMullen going down here, trying to side draft, get back to the lead as they're coming into turn 4. They are 2 wide, 5 rows deep as their little bottle up there on the bottom. The high side is actually going to be taken as they go into the tri-oval. He is actually going to lead that lap once again. That high side is actually building up this momentum throughout the night, so I'm really excited about that high side making the run.
That bottom just got really compressed. The 19 got a huge run on the 23 and waited to the last second to check up, and that bottlenecked everybody behind him. You got to be easy on the throttle when you're coming up to a checkup. You can't just drive into it and lift heavy, or else you'll get stuff like that where it might cause accidents. Good thing nothing happened there. They keep it going straight here, side by side, down the middle of the backstretch.
Yeah, good heads-up driving by all these drivers here when they get checked up, because all that can turn into a quick accident real quick, as we saw on the last lap of both duels, actually, which is always nice to see when you don't have a wreck to the end. But looking in the back, you have the 51 and the 11. They're sitting here trying to make a little run, but they just can't go anywhere. The 51 of Brandon Elder, he's just kind of laying back, seeing where everything plays out, probably getting a feel for it for next week. I don't believe we saw him in the duels. I could be wrong on that. But he looks like he's, just out here getting some runs. But back up to the front, we do have a battle for the lead still between the 71 and the 23.
Yeah, I do believe you're correct. Yeah, the 51 Elder did not make the event. What I was kind of expecting was Gil Galk. He raced in duel number 2, and he was making some really good, impressive moves, and I was kind of excited for him, but he unfortunately did not make this little fun 25 lapper. Outside of that, though, everyone else is, they're side by side, but they're not being too aggressive. They're giving each other tons of space right now, except for Case, who's trying to get a little side draft on the 19, trying to regain second.
I'm just waiting to see if anyone's going to make a run for this 23. He showed his dominance, flexed his muscle in duel number 2, and he's doing the same thing right now. He's basically putting on a show, letting everyone know, hey, next week when it comes to the main event, I'm the one to beat.
Yeah, everyone wants to be that guy, someone who wants to be pushed, and you got to have that pusher, right? We've seen a couple guys in duel number 2 who really prevailed to be a pusher. Gil being one of them, and like I say, he's not here right now. The 51 being his first event of the evening, he's got to kind of prove his point here at the last minute. He's got to hook up with someone or get to the front to kind of show, hey, you should be looking at me as well for a little friendship partnership here.
Absolutely, and he's actually one of the league co-founders and the past champion, so he's had his runs from time to time, and he's gained the respect of all these drivers out here. He kind of gets a case of bad luck from time to time, but he's making his way up as we see now, and that inside row is making its run through, and if this thing follows out, he could be in 6, or he might even jump up to the high side and make a run up there with everyone else on the high. That's 7 right now. Wayne Gracie leading the way, but the 71 is all over that back bumper.
Yeah, Wayne, first time he's kind of led a pack so far this evening, and getting some heavy pressure by Casey. You don't want to press there on that right rear quarter panel because these bumpers are rounded off, so if you touch it in the wrong area, you will go around. So we see the 51 there, as we just talked about him. He cuts in front of Wayne to try to kind of lead the pack and get the steam rolling on the top.
Yeah, and as you see from our view on Nerd TV there, you see that new camera update that they just put on there, so that's a nice little feature that they added to it. But they're tossing back and forth. The 51 that we were just talking about is actually jumped up to the high side, so he's going to try and lead that high pack with the 7 and the 71 behind him, but the low side with the 23 is just chugging along, heading into turn 1 and 2 right now. I just don't know if anyone's got it for him, Jeremy. I think the 23 right now, Brody, is the class act of the field.
Yeah, it's a fix setup. That guy is showing his muscle and knows exactly where to put his car and keep him up there in the top few spots anyways. He's got the 19 who's been very loyal to him so far at this point on the bottom, just kind of tucked up underneath that rear end. It's going to make it tough for the 77 to do anything. He's going to have to hope for that top side to make a good run.
Yeah, as we see here, that top side is just kind of standing out right now. It's still just 23, 19, 77, 91, 11, round out your top 5 as they come here with 17 to go. So far, it's just been kind of nice and relaxing, a little bit of side-by-side. That low line has been dominating like it did in duel number 2, waiting on that high side to come in as it did in duel number 1, as we saw on the low side. Duel number 2 need the high side going. So hopefully we get that high side running here. But right now, single file, about 6 rows back.
92 thought about putting the brakes on the 51, decided not to at the last second. I've been really impressed, Kenny, with Wayne Grassi's bump drafting ability. Even through the corner on the back of the 51, he has just been locked onto him, that of Brandon
There goes the
Elder.
momentum of the 51 heading down low, coming off the turn 4.
Yep, still wants to make the run with him. He got a good run, but kind of made it a little bit too late of a move. I don't think the 7 expected it. Kind of checked him up a little bit, but everyone back on the bottom now to kind of help that run. The top 4 guys have the top lane, which we haven't seen much of so far tonight.
No, we haven't, but as this bottom run's building up, we have the 51 of Brandon Elder that's trying to push it up to make this a 2-wide, 4-row deep battle here. We're going to have a little bump from the 77 to the 19. We see the 17s pushing up to the 11, but that bottom row is building up. We have the 33 to 71 and the 14 now on the bottom row as we're heading into turn 3 and 4.
You see Wayne on board here entering turn number 3, just all over the back of that silver bullet, trying to get any momentum possible now as that inside line is starting to find that little momentum until they get to exit to turn number 4. A little check up there from the 19 getting back to the 23, and now they are side by side for the lead.
As we're heading into turn 1 side by side, that 19 is all over the back bumper, the 23 of Brody Hanna. He is pushing him into turn 1, but the 51 is now in command. He is leading going into turn 2 with the 7 car right on him. Wayne Gracie is pushing him as well. They are gapping that top now by 4 car lengths.
Yeah, that inside is just too strong. I'm not sure what the difference is over this past week, but that line has shifted from the bottom to the top, now back to the bottom. The 23 there, Brody's really trying to get something going on. As we got 5 cars on the top, they just got to get those bumpers closer and closer to each other to make that run. But a decent run right now on the top, nonetheless.
Yeah, 23 is definitely making a run. He might be, this is just an expedition race, but why not make a good practice for the main event next week? And he's probably seeing how his car handles on the bottom, seeing how it handles on the top. And right now, he's kind of just all over the place, but he's trying to get his side draft going on the number 7, try to make his way back up there. But as we see, the 51 still leading the way, coming off of 2, and then they're 2 wide, 4 back.
Yeah, Brandon, as you said, didn't race the duels, and he comes into this thing and within 10 laps find himself in the top spot all the way from the far back side of the field. So he's got a really good push right now from Wayne Grassi. So if he can keep that up, he's been pushing them all night long. He's getting very familiar at this point to where Brandon runs his line. And so if he can get really close like he's doing right now for the most part of this tonight's event, I think they're going to be there for the end.
I think you're correct on that one. As we see Brody in the 19 now is actually, they're leaving Brody up on the high side. The 19 is taking the lead into turn 1. He gave a push to the 23 as they were going in, and then he ducked down low, got right in front of the 77 of Bobby Rafferty, which, if you're around the 23 or the 77, you're in good company because those are our dual winners. The 51 takes it to the high side as we come off of 2.
51 gave a good push to the 77 and then decided to take that momentum for himself, but you can't do that with this draft package. As you see, he quickly falls back, though he had some early help there from Brody. So that might actually help him in the long run here, but shortly he lost at least 1 spot. 77 to the back of the 19, exiting turn number 4.
You are correct. You lose draft quick if you don't have any help in this new package deal. But he's, trying to make his way back. You got the 2 co-owners here, the 2 founders of this league, working up together. So they're bound to make some moves. As once they get this high side rolling, they only have 5 though on the top side. When you're trying to go 5 against 8, it's not really a good matchup. But they're going to try and make it work as you got the 19 of Richie Coy coming off of turn 2, leading the lead.
Yeah, we see the 33 and the 71 also dip high to take advantage of the top spot there over the 51 and 23. That's going to put 5 cars on the top side there. And they're going to be putting pressure on second place, and the 19 might be in trouble here, getting off into turn number 4.
But as you see on this top side, we have the 33. That neon Pizza Hut car is on his way. That is piloted by Sherwood Williford, and he is making his way. Finally going to be to the top spot. Looks like he might get this one as they're in the trial. He might lead this lap. I just missed it, but they are making a run. You have the 71 of Casey McMullen gave him a push as they're heading down in the turn 1 and 2. Still Richie Coy at the lead.
That was the second closest attempt so far to take the lead from the high line, and that Pizza Hut sponsor. I used to be a partner of that team for 8 years. working in the restaurant field. So I got a little bit of a heart there for him. But the 51 turn
Oh, we
into the
have a
14
wreck.
and the 18, 3 cars around. No caution just yet. They kind of scatter around to the bottom of the field. No caution so far. They don't throw manual caution, so still green flag.
Yep, still keeping it green. Unfortunately, it looks like the 51, one of the front runners there, Brandon Elder, who was actually in the lead for a couple laps during this race. It just looks like he got caught up in a wreck. Let's take a look over at Nerd TV replay and see exactly what happened.
Yeah, initial observations show the 23 just, not checking up enough after the 71. The 33 made contact, as we're going to see it right here. Exiting turn number 2, checks up, and yep, the 23 just didn't check up in time and sent him around, and they collected the 18 and the 14 as innocent victims, and that just innocent bystander. And that's unfortunate. 3 cars out with 10 laps to go.
That is unfortunate. That silver bullet just got a little bit shorter. The back end, unfortunately, got crunched in. His night in this expedition race is done. No yellow, so not getting back to the front. But as we're still looking on, we have the 19 of Richie Coy still in the lead, getting pushed by Bobby Rafferty. But we have the 91 of Kenneth Schultz actually making a run here, trying to get to the lead going into the tri-oval.
Kenneth Schultz, first time out in front, and for the second time this evening, the high side gets to lead a lap as he ducks quickly to the bottom. He knows that's where he needs to be. The fastest lane, the most secure spot is in the front, on the bottom side there, and the high side is kind of falling apart. Kenneth, now there's 6 on the bottom, 3 on the top.
Yeah, that bottom side is just showing its dominance again, like it did in duel number 1. But we have the 19. Looks like he's making a look. Nope, decide not, because the 33 is there. That was a good move because you don't want to push it 3 wide when you've got that little bit of a gap. We're going into turn 3 and 4. We have 9 laps to go in this expedition race. Jeremy, who do you think, out of right now what you've seen, what we got left in this field, what's your prediction of who's going to get this win in this expedition race?
I think it's going to take someone to get a good buddy on that top side, because that inside line right now is sacred ground. We see Sherwood Williford only with 3 cars on the top, showing how it's done here. He's going to take the lead with half the cars behind him as the bottom. What a huge run there. So if we get something like that going on the top side, I think that's where the moneymaker position is going to be.
Absolutely. Sherwood pushing that Patriot Racing Pizza Hut number 33 to the lead. Right behind him, though, he has a 71 helping him with Casey McMullen. They're actually going to keep it on the outside, try and keep that momentum, and they're actually building up 5 on this outside to 4 on the inside. So we're going to have a good showing here coming to the final couple laps that we have.
You see the 91 of Kenneth trying to make a good run here. It's kind of funny how the cars have less on the bottom lane. All of a sudden they get faster. It's kind of a little broken there, to my understanding of Daytona anyways. But you see the 17 go up a little high. 23 is going to go 3 wide. It's going to suck up to the back of Casey here. Almost. The 17 kind of push him down a little bit. 23 is going to fall to the bottom. 4 cars on the bottom, and they're going to be cleared of the 33. The 33 falls back with Casey, the 17, and the 11.
Yeah, as you see there on that high side, if you don't stay together and you start getting broken up, that high side momentum will go quick. And we got a little maneuver here. Got the 19 taking off into the lead of Richie Coy. Now the outside, you're going to have 4 of them coming with them. You have the 19, 77, 7, 23. Everyone's going around the 91. The 91 is going to definitely fall to the back. That is unfortunate. With coming to 6 laps to go, he's going to have to fight his way back up to the front. As you see, the 18 who was involved in that wreck, they're all passing him low. He's got some damage. He's just putting some laps down.
It's almost like he gave a signal to somebody. Everyone just said nope, went right around him and quickly took him from first all the way back to 8th, it's going to look like. And a lot of positions just quickly changed there. We saw the 33 last lap of Sherwood was about 7th place or so, 6th place, and all of a sudden he's on the second car on the top side, looking to be within the top 5 here, top 4-ish so far. 3 cars on the top, 5 on the bottom, a little bit of disadvantage on the top, but as we've seen so far, that does not matter. As the 23 dual race number 2 winner, Brody, is going to take the top spot in ring 3.
Surprise, surprise. Look who's back again. The 23 of Brody. Hannah is coming back up for the lead. Like you said, your dual race number 2. He's using that side draft. He's coming off on the outside of Richie Coy. The 19, he is going to take the lead with the 33 following in behind him as we head into the tri-oval.
7 had a little bit of a squirreliness going on there on the exit of turn number 4, kind of checked up the bottom just enough, and that draft is so detrimental that lost the momentum there. So they got to regroup now as we see 2 cars fully clear the 19. If they wanted to dip, they could. Right now, they still like to keep the top spot. They got a good 4 set of cars up there with the high side momentum.
And here comes the 91 of Kenneth Schultz. Actually got dropped back. He's making his way back up. Look at him getting the run on the high side. He is going to go from last to possibly getting into the 5th position. But here comes the inside making a run going into turn 1 with the 19 of Richie Coy still in the lead. Now the 23 of Brody Hanna's heading down low. The 33 is going to be staying high. Let's see what happens here. They got the high side. The 23 has no help as the 33 takes the lead as we head into the tri-oval.
Huge checkup on the bottom as they catch Brody there entering the tri-oval. 3 cars so far clear of him. If they wanted the dip, they could. Huge run there by Sherwood. He's been really impressive on the top side by himself with few cars. That car's got a huge wreck here. 91 Kenneth. Heavy turns
big damage.
Outside
caution is out. Caution is out.
Yellow flag is out.
Yep, your iRacing I flag should be blinking as, multiple cars involved. The middle pack had no choice. The iRacing officials did call that one for a caution with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. With 3 laps to go, they were such good racing. Let's take a look here over on Nerd TV replay, see what ended up happening there. Looks like the 91 just came down a little bit and caught the 23 in the front. Hard hit into the wall, took out the 77, which was your dual 1 winner. So there's a fast car that's out right there. The 91 too, that was a pretty fast car. Knocked out some good cars in that wreck.
Yeah, that 91 of Kenneth Scholes, it almost reminded me of the Michael McDowell Texas qualifying wreck where he quickly went up to the top side and just plowed the wall. He tried coming down across. He was the only car. It was a lot slower of a 5-car pack there and just had no room. And, with a door shut like that with a few laps to go, no one's going to give you that room. And the results showed of what happens when you try to make that kind of move late in the run.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he, caught the bottom of the 23 there on the front right fender. But, yeah, I that did kind of look some reminiscent of the Michael McDowell wreck at Texas there. Was it Texas, I believe? You might have to correct me on that one if I'm wrong.
Yeah, it was definitely Texas. My memory doesn't serve me too well, but that's one of those few instances where it glows. I can see it. It's clear as day. I can remember it so long ago. I think it was 2007 even. So. Yeah,
it's engraved in my brain. I mean, I remember I held my breath when I saw that hit because it was a rough hit, but it just showed the safety advancements of these cars these days.
Yeah, and the walls with the safety barrier too. I do believe it was still intact at that point, but. As we're sitting under caution, we have a couple laps, I think, before we take the green flag for the final few laps with 1 green-white checkered attempt, which I think will be used up. Right there it is, race control, green-white checker. So this will be the final restart of the 25-lap fun race here. Quick shout-out, Martin Sports. You've heard me talk about him a couple times so far tonight. Home of the gloves of sim racing. Martin Sports makes the most breathable and durable gloves of the sim racing world. Has seen, also specializing in fully customized sublimation printing on everything from team uniforms to shirts, hoodies, allowing for 0 restriction on colors, which allow for an absolute fastest turnaround in the business. Check their full apparel and merchandise line at martinsports906.com. We got the pace light still on the car, so we got about a lap and a half, I think, Kenny, before they take the green flag. What do you think? Checkers, wreckers, do you think they make it? What's your predictions?
I think they're going to make it. I think it's going to be just like it was in the first 2 duels. I think they're going to get to that kind of coming off of turn 4, as we always see a lot of mayhem off of turn 4 on the last lap. I think they're going to do the same thing. Probably actually with this small pack, since we had some wreck out, get to the tri-oval, and then I think we're going to wad them up behind the leader, but one of them's going to win it. Right now, that 33 of Sherwood Wilford is actually showing a strong case, but he's been pushed by the 71 of Casey McMullen this whole race. So those are the 2 to look out for.
Yeah, I think we see 7 cars that are going to be taking the green flag here on the final restart. We got a couple on pit road still, but 7 on the track. Damage to a couple cars, nothing significant. They're the ones that are currently running. So I think there's going to be about a 7-car pack to the finish. My predictions right now is Sherwood's the one to beat, leading that high side there. Hasn't been too much runs up there at the top, and he's been pretty dominant so far.
I think you're correct on that. I think the 33 is the one to beat, but I'm still going to take an eye on the 11 car too. Tony Sawyer, he's been sitting back there. The dual race, this expedition race, he's kind of just been sitting in the weeds waiting. He did start up front in both. So we'll see what he does. The 19, also of Richie Coy, he's going to be starting back there. He's been strong all day, and you can't roll out the 23 of Brody Hanna. I mean, he's just been dominating this whole night.
There's quite a few gyros you definitely cannot rule out. And it's Daytona, right? So anything is possible. We've seen countless last lap incidences in the real life, in the sim world, no matter where, at any super speedway type event. So we see the leader, Sherwood Williford, electing the top side of the track. And it's probably a choice of partner with Tony Soler right behind him in that Menards green and white number 11. Then you got the 19 as well. Then there with Richie Coy in that white Mustang there. I think that's going to be that's been the strong set of cars in the draft. So I think that might have been a wise choice by Surefoot to make that move to the top and try to get that Pizza Hut Camaro up in the victory lane in this fun lap or 25 lap.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he might try to get a good start and jump down in front of that 71 and keep that inside lane going, because those two have just been pushing their way through this whole race. The 71 has been all over the back bumper, pushing his way up to the front. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see him jump down. And then keep your eye on the back there with that 19 and 23, because those two might hook up together and make their way up in these last couple laps.
That is very possible indeed. We're going to see the pace car dip down for the final time with us tonight. Waiting for the green flag. It is out now. Sherwood just a little bit slower of a start than Casey. Good restart by Casey. He's going to get just to the bumper. Let's see if the 11 can re-clear him entering turn 1.
As we head into turn 1, you have the 33 of Sherwood Wilford still at P1 with the 11 of Tony Soler right behind him. As they're heading into turn 1 and 2, we have the 3 on the bottom, 4 on the top. So right now that high side is taking the run as they're coming off of turn 2.
That was a wise choice by the 33 to make that move to the top. And we see the 19, give a little bit of a bump to Tony there as he'd made a late cut down to the bottom. Really checked up the 19. That's going to allow the 92 of Dean Gear to show his face all of a sudden. Where did Mr. He come from for tonight? Casey's going to follow him to the bottom, and we might see a new leader.
Yeah, we might see one here coming off of turn 4. We have the 92 of Dean Gear. He's been just sitting in the back the whole race, but he's bringing that Fox Sports Chevy right to the front as he's couldn't pull off the pass. The 33 still had them high side, but the 71 of Casey McMullen is giving him a shove heading down into turn 1.
Let's see if Casey can get the 92 of Dean Gear back. He had a long hiatus from this series, and he's going to come back and maybe take a little fun victory here. We'll see. 33 Sherwood back to the bottom. It's going to leave Tony Slayer with a huge run up top. Three wide. Dean Gear with a hellacious run there, side by side with Tony, entering turn 3.
And that just killed him in for the 71, and they're going to, but they're they're bunching up with the 92, but the 23 is giving the 11 a shot. Here comes Tony Soler, 23 and the 11. They're going to come off of turn 4. Is the 23 going to go with them, or is going to try to make a pass on the high side?
You got to move the high side, and there he goes. Makes the run. 19 said nope. Wants to go 3 wide, squeeze it.
Going for the win. 19.
Huge move. Richie Coy takes the win there.
What a move.
Super impressive move there. I did not expect the third place car to kind of shoot up the middle like that. Huge run, takes the win, well paid off. That was a really tight pass there.
What a move to make it 3 wide, and he had the momentum. He timed that thing perfectly. 3 wide, wasn't even 3 wide at the finish line. He had such a run. Nice move, nice move. You know his dad's looking down from above and saying, good job, son.
Yeah, I mean, the decal gave him all the luck there and the talent there to squeeze that gap. We knew the high side was going to shove up. As soon as you talked about it, it happened. And then Richie just said, you know what? With this side draft, it's his mine. And zoomed up there, and he brought Dean with him, too. Dean ended up in third, almost in second. Pretty impressive stuff there.
Yeah, I was thinking the 23 was going to be making that run, and the 19 just came out of nowhere. That was a great pass. That, like you said, I was not expecting him to be the winner. He was sitting probably, fourth back before we even got off of turn 4, and look at him now doing burnouts on the trioval.
That's awesome stuff there. Let's go ahead and give you a quick rundown of the Sim Racing Points official results here of this fun little 25-lapper here. Richie Coy, as you just saw, took the top spot in tonight's race. Second place will be Brody Hanna. Third place, Dean Gear. Fourth place, Tony Soler. 15th will be Casey McMullen. 6th place, Sherwood Williford. And 7th place, Steve Loomis.
And in 8th place, you have Wayne Gracie. 9th place, Kenneth Schultz. 10th place, your Duel 1 winner, Bobby Radforty. 11th is Ryan Bliss. 12th, Wayne Allen. And rounding out 13th, unfortunately, Brandon Elder couldn't finish, got caught up in that wreck. So congratulations to Richie Coy as he's burning it down on the tri-oval.
Burning it down, you mean more like stuck. That's so easy to do in these next gen cars. But we're going to kick it over to the post race show presented by martinsports906.com. The three events are done, guys. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of recap everything for you. And overall thoughts of tonight's event, Kenny?
It was a great show. I enjoyed it. Good battles. That first one, kind of like we were talking about earlier, you're going to have one that's going to be all out, and you're going to have the ones that's a little conservative. Looks like the dual one was on that conservative route and kind of just hung back until the very end and had the caution right there coming off of 4. And dual 2, a little bit more excitement, but the same thing. It was nice to see we didn't see a caution until right off of turn 4 coming to the checker flag. So it's always exciting when there's no wrecks and a lot of racing.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive stuff overall. We're going to see if we can get a quick word with the winner here before everyone starts taking off. Let's go celebrate with her team. So let me see if I can grab him for everybody real quick.
User was moved to your channel.
Richie Coy, do you have a copy?
Hey guys, nice to meet you. How's it going?
Nice to meet you as well. We're doing excellent up here, man. We didn't get to talk to the two dual winners, but I wanted to grab you here. That move off of turn 4 surprised the hell out of everybody watching. Walk us through that turn 3 and 4, and how'd you get to the victory lane?
Honestly, I have no idea. When I crossed the line for the white flag, I was literally 7th and wasn't even behind them guys. I got a good run going down the backstretch and was able to push Brody in the 23 up the outside. I think we cleared everybody going into 3, and then Brody went outside of Tony coming out of 4, and I was like, well, heck, I'm going up the middle. And the only one that I actually had help was me. I had the 92 of Dan behind me, and he pushed me right through the middle, and it was awesome. It was fun racing there at the end with my 2 teammates.
That was a blast to watch too as well, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great show. On the restart, I was saying the 19, the 23 might hook up and make a run here, and like Jeremy said, I was not expecting that run to go 3 wide, and you had so much momentum that you weren't even 3 wide by the time you got to the checker flag. You just blew past them and took that win. That was a nice move you made there.
Oh, I appreciate it. Plate racing is really not my forte. I'm kind of a short track, intermediate kind of guy, but anytime I win on one of these big tracks, it's always fun, even if it's just for fun. But
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I say I couldn't agree more yet. Typically super speedways, I only have a couple of wins in the past 4 or 5 years, and thankfully I've had some recent luck on this type of track. Maybe it's the next gen car that's bringing some new luck, maybe for you as well, so maybe might find some more success, like even next week if you make that kind of same move. Could be available to you in the 250.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we had a pretty good duel. I finished 2nd in the duel. I was trying to make my move there, and there was a little bit of a jam up with the outside, the front 2 guys on the in front of me, but still came home 2nd. So we'll be starting 5th, and hopefully I can keep it up front all week next week.
Absolutely. So we're gonna let you go back to your channel, but real quick, since we got you on here, any sponsors you got in that car you want to thank?
I got to thank my teammates from Fury Motorsports. We work really hard, and really we spend a lot of time together trying to get these things right. Elite Performance, they give me my setups. I represent them, and they gave me one heck of a piece tonight, and hopefully we can go ahead and do them good for next week too.
Yeah, best of luck to you and your teammates at Fury Motorsports for sure. You guys have a good night, all right?
Absolutely. Thanks again for coming on board, and I can't wait to go back, rewatch the stream, and look forward to working with you guys.
Appreciate it, man. It's been a blast.
Absolutely. Same here.
User was moved out of your channel.
The little, I think we were calling it the little fun nerdy 75. I'm not too sure what we called it, but it was a blast to watch regardless. Those little fun expedition races are actually some of the more fun ones I like watching personally, because there's nothing to lose. So, you just have at it and, hope for the best. And the 19, Richie Coy making that kind of move was pretty damn impressive.
That it was. Yes, these expedition races sometimes are a little bit more because, like you said, there's no points on the line, so there's a little bit more moves, a little bit more battling, but all in all, great racing.
All right, so with that, guys, being said, I want to do a quick rundown of all of our sponsors that brought us here tonight before we send you guys off into the sunset. Full Throttle Sim Racing, the official series sponsor for the Cup Series you'll see on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. And they also are the host of the truck race for the Sim Racing Points Truck Series as well on Wednesdays, also at 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to www.ftsr.net to find out everything about Full Throttle Sim Racing. Been doing this thing for, I think, 16 years at this point between NR 2003 and iRacing. iRacing about 5 years now. So well-established league. Got some great admins and great drivers. As you've just seen this evening, go check them out, ftsr.net. And then we have the Sim Racing Points, which is your official inclusive league points management system sponsor for Full Throttle Sim Racing. And one of those products that's a must-have to keep your points in track and everyone, up to date, real fast, real easy. Just plug in your export, boom, your website has your points updated. Drivers appreciate it. The admins appreciate it. Check them out at simracingpoints.com. And then we also have Martin Sports. We've talked about it a couple times. The official gloves, for me anyways, for sim racing. And they got hoodies, shirts, hats, other products along the way. I can't talk about just yet. NartonSports906.com. Then we have iRacing iFlag that gives you that. That actually, I'm going to pair these up. iRacing iFlag and the butt kicker. If you pair them two up, you get the caution lights, the green flag, the light system inside your house alongside the butt kicker that makes your seat move like you're in a car. It's no better experience. It's awesome combination. But iRacing iFlag, you go to checkout for them, Super Nerd, for 15% off. And then if you go to buttkicker or thebuttkicker.com, Nerd TV at checkout for 20% off of their products as well. So check everything out there. Awesome stuff. Kenny, time to close it out. First race underneath our belts together. Went pretty well, I think, and I'm looking forward to this entire season with you.
Yeah, man, the first time in the booth at all for me, and couldn't have spent anyone else with someone I've known for my whole life. So, I enjoyed the time. I can't wait to do this thing for the whole season for both series, the truck race and the cup race. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to get it started.
Me too, brother. All right, man. All right, from everybody at Nerditudes, thanks for having us tag along here at the Full Throttle Sim Racing League, and until Wednesday, guys, stay safe, and we'll see you at 9 p.m. Central or Eastern.